Welcome back everybody, your typical bull here, and I'm coming at you with another video. I'm going to analyze and let you know how I caught a 110% SPY day trade today. Before we get into it though, please do remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Your support really helps the channel to grow, and it is very much appreciated. And if this channel has helped you to become a better trader in any way, please consider subscribing to the YouTube membership program or the Patreon page. Links for that are in the description below. And for YouTube members and patrons, on October 22nd, we are doing a private live question and answer session for the patron members and the YouTube members only. So subscribe now so that you can get into that if you want to. Alright, and with that being said, let's get right into it. So first things first, this was a supply and demand trade, and we are looking at this supply here, or this demand here, I'm sorry, from the 4-hour chart, right? This is where we bottomed on the 4-hour chart. We had a very nice rally from this location, and this area has yet to be tested again. So this is kind of what I'm looking at into this morning's open, and we have been looking pretty bearish. We are trading below our averages. So coming into today in our pre-market session, we were making some nice movement, but up into open, the bulls were unable to sustain that move. So what I'm looking at here currently is a strong bullish push on open that was pretty well eaten up by bears. So we had a strong volume push up, and we are trading above the VWAP, but we are unable to hold VWAP on that volume, and the bulls ended up losing this fight here. And this starts into a retest and a very strong sell-off into that demand zone that we have marked off. We retested VWAP twice here and rejected both times, and then the sell-off just intensifies. And we sell off pretty strongly into this area, and as we come into this area, I'm noticing that volume is picking up a bit, and we are showing some bullish rejections out of that area. On the second candle here, this area right here, I picked up 433 0 days to expiration calls for $55. And before we go any farther, I do want to mention that 0 days to expiration calls are very, very risky. And basically what it means is that by 3 p.m. today, if you're not in the money, you're at zero. So if you do pick these up, you do want to make sure that you are doing it at a risk level that you are comfortable with, and you don't want to hold them very long because you can basically watch the theta eat these things away. They are so risky. But other than that, they function just like a normal option. You can pick up some huge gains with these day trading because they're so cheap, and if you actually get one that does run into the money, they will give you a very large percentage gain, right? Okay, so that being said, let's continue to go down. We're looking at here on our RSI, we are definitely in an oversold area, and we are showing some bullish rejections off of this 4-hour demand zone. What things I was worried about though is that this sell-off was very strong, but some bulls started stepping in here on this candle, so I purchased the 433 calls here in anticipation that the bulls were going to take at least control for a short period of time off of this demand zone and try and defend that area that they pushed up from the last time. So at the start of this trade here, we aren't looking so good. About 20 minutes in, things are not really moving much, and we are showing some bearish candles here. But we ended up moving down to this 430 level on the dot and bouncing up, so that gave me a little more confidence in this trade, and volume is still picking up. So bulls are actively defending this area at this time. So that gives me confidence to hold this trade just a bit longer into this. And then we start to push up from this area again and retesting it. And every time we retest that area, bulls step in to defend it. And then we make this new high here. And at that point, I am fully invested into this trade, which kind of bites me in the tail a little bit here. But as you see, we come back into this area again, and bulls step back in to defend it one last time before we push up into our VWAP. And then when we close above this VWAP and above this 50-day average, I'm feeling even more confident. RSI is steady trending up. So this retest here is a nice little push off, is making me more and more confident. And then we close back below, and I ended up closing this position right at this pivot here when we test that and make an exhaustion candle here, and I ended up pulling 110% from this trade. So that is it was an extremely good trade, but luckily we did end up closing this at this area, because shortly after that we did sell off on very strong volume into the close. And outlooks for tomorrow, we are currently sitting back at this zone, which also happens to be a head and shoulders on our 4-hour chart. So that's going to be very interesting to see what happens going into tomorrow. See, here is your shoulder, here is your head, and there is your other shoulder. If we do not hold this level, I do expect that we will show some pretty serious downside from here, possibly because our next zone is not until this 420 area in here, so we could see a strong sell-off into that area there, which is why if we do cross that area to the low side in the morning on open, I will be looking to play puts. But interestingly enough, we are showing a divergence on our RSI on this 4-hour chart, which could mean that this rally, we may rally up from this point tomorrow. So we will be watching for what happens off of this very key level here in the morning. With that being said, that's going to about cover it for this video. Leave comments below, and please remember to smash that subscribe button. Your support really helps this channel to grow, and it is what keeps me doing this. With that being said, I will see everyone in the next one. Cheers.